Hi there, B. Barry here. Today I'm here to talk about Y.S.Park. So today I'm just going to be talking about the tail combs in particular, but for more information watch my other videos. I'll cover the combs, the cutting combs, and the brushes and stuff later. So first of all, you should have one of these. It's our Y.S.Park manual, and it has in it just a good description of every tool. I'm not going to go through every single comb, but I'm going to cover the basics of what's so special about Y.S.Park and why it's so great. So Y.S.Park, to begin with, is a master stylist from Japan. He started about 30-40 years ago, and during his career he started to notice, the tools we use are not necessarily as precise to what we need. So he kind of started getting on top of that and getting into this. And over the next 20 years, he really spent a lot of time and effort into developing these things. Since he's developed these combs, they have become part of the education system in Japan. So these things are very precise, and there's a good reason for it. So what's so special about Y.S.Park is his combs are made out of a plastic called imido. Most of them are carbon as well. That imido plastic is used in hospitals. It's antibacterial and antifungal. It's also hydrophobic. So these three things make this comb so much more special than anything else. Not only can we close our flat iron right on it and not have it even warp slightly, but you don't have to worry about chemicals or bleaches ever staining and dyeing your comb. This comb itself is mine. I've been using this for 5 years. I use the hell out of this thing, and it's still in perfect working condition. Another great thing about this plastic is that it's very, very tough. Obviously, like we like to say, they're indestructible. Obviously, you can break it if you want to go out there and do something really hard, but there's nothing that you're going to do with hair that will be able to break this. Even heated, even tampered with, it doesn't get affected. So really, really sweet. Every single comb and every single tool in the Y.S.Park line has multiple characteristics or functions that make it special. And so a lot of them will share things throughout the line, and then others will be very specific, but it's those features that make these things so, so special. So if you'll notice on the comb itself, you'll see, it might be hard to see in the video, but you'll see as you get one in your hand, they have a slight texture to them. That texture in itself might seem very meaningless, but when you've got a handful of oils and chemicals and products from work, this thing isn't slipping out of your hands. Amazing. So even doing color applications, getting this thing covered in color, it's not going to slip out of your hand. That's a really, really nice thing. Secondly, they have these holes in them. And these holes, not only do they provide extra strength and flexibility and take away weight, so they're a little bit lighter, but what's really neat is that they're each 1 centimeter apart, so that you can actually use them to measure. Really, really handy, really, really neat little function. On most of his combs, he has a parting notch. Really only on combs that aren't necessary to have one, they won't, but pretty much every other one will. Just a fun little feature that makes it great. And the last thing is the teeth. So the teeth of the comb are a lot more important than we think they are. The simple shape of them or the way that they're made can affect the hair greatly. Most combs are made in a press kind of thing. So down the center of most teeth you have a little seam. That seam actually scrapes the hair and can do damage to the hair. So he has all of his very smooth. Another really neat thing too is the shape of the teeth. So on combs where you need good tension, he'll have square-based teeth. That way you get more tension out of the hair. And if you, by simply just affecting the angle on it, you get even more tension because there's less space in between the teeth. So you can get a really good grip out of that. Whereas some of his other combs will have round teeth. The idea behind this is like your fingers, you're not getting a lot of tension. So it's a lot easier for detangling, for getting through things, and also some really cool cutting techniques you can use with round teeth and save yourself time. But I'll cover those in other videos. So today I'm going to go over our tail combs, and if you wanted to follow along in your book, I'm just going to go from front to back. And I'll explain the slight difference between these because a lot of people will get two items, hold them side by side, and they just don't really see what the difference is. But the differences are really subtle, but very important. So on any comb, when we're holding our comb, we have a good spot for our hand to hold. Anywhere near the base of that, I can put my finger on and get extra tension on that. And I'll demonstrate here. So what he's done is he has the teeth, they get 1/100th of a millimeter closer together as they get closer to the end. That way you get full tension all the way through the comb rather than just at the base where I can apply the pressure with my thumb. And so I'll show you here. So if you can see how the hair here is starting to loosen, but I still have good grip there. That way I can put my thumb here and apply good pressure everywhere. I can even lift the head off of the... Really, really great. But that is a really, really nice feature. It actually helps us a lot more than we think. When you don't have to take a section 2 or 3 times to get it, you're getting it in one go. So it actually is simplifying your life and saving you time with clients. Really, really unbelievable that a comb can help you do that. But anyways, so first one we have here is the 101. So this is your standard tail comb. It's not it's a rat tail comb, but it doesn't have the metal rat tail. So really that's the difference between it and some of the other ones. Some will be rat tail and some will be plastic. With the first one here, just your standard carbon tail comb. Has all of those features that I was talking about before. It's got the holes, it's got the parting notch, it has the texture, it has the strong material, chemical resistant, all that. So that's your standard tail comb. You can use that for pretty much anything. That, you know, I like to use these for highlights. I know most people like to use the metal tail comb for highlights. I like the thicker one. You can get a lot more done with that. The second one we have is identical to the first one. It just has the metal rat tail. So they're identical. They have the same teeth as well. Some of them, that's really the only distinction between them. You will have a wider set of teeth and a finer set of teeth. So they'll just be the 2 options. So that is the 101 and the 102. Standard typical carbon tail combs. Next we've got the carbon mini pin tail. So this is for chignon or any kind of updos or styling. This one, as you will notice, doesn't have the close together teeth. This one is meant for more of finishing work and all that rather than taking sections. Next we have the carbon tail comb. So this one is very similar to the last one we looked at. It's just of a larger size. So depending on the work you're doing, you will choose either one. After that we have my personal faves, the carbon super tint rat tail comb. And so I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but those teeth are very, very fine. So here's the one that I use. It has a wider set of teeth. I'm not sure if you can see it too well, but having them sitting side by side in front, it's pretty easy to see the difference. And obviously finer tooth combs for finer tooth things where you need to get a little bit finer. So really, yeah, we have that one, and then we have one in the metal tail as well. So really quite simple. And again, these all are sharing those same characteristics where they have the parting notch other than the one. Then they have the spaces measuring for the centimeters. They have the plastic, the heat and chemical resistance. Next we have the extra long tail. So these essentially are identical to the last ones I showed you. They're just a little bit longer. So as you can see, even just the package is longer. I don't know if you can see too well, but really, yeah, that's it. So with the extra long ones, we have the not so fine and the super fine. So really that's the difference between those two. Really quite simple for the tail combs. There's not much to it other than if you don't know what a specific comb is for, you know, you might want to look into that. Most people who are going to be purchasing this will understand what type of comb they're looking for. Really, when you're selling these kind of things, you're just going to be explaining all the extra bonus stuff. And that's all this company does, is extra bonus stuff. Everything about each tool is amazing. Now, the last tail comb I'm going to spend a little bit of time on because it is literally the most amazing teasing comb you will ever find in your life. So, this comb has 3 different sets of teeth. I'm not sure if you can see too well on the camera there. We have an outside tooth, which is soft and malleable. And then we have inside teeth, which are really, really strong and hard. And another neat thing too, I'm not sure if you can see too well in there, but the teeth in the center, they are thicker at the base and thinner at the tip. It actually makes a sort of V between them. And what's neat about that is you get a lot more space hitting or a lot more material on the comb is hitting the hair, so you get a lot more tease out of it. And I'm going to show you this because, I mean, this speaks for itself. So I'm going to take a little section here. So just a section of hair. I'm just going to tease it real quick. There's no products in here, nothing. Unbelievable. With a tiny section of hair, you can actually make a unicorn horn with this comb. I have never found a comb that will even remotely get close to this. Like, look at that tease. Really unbelievable. And it's a really great thing too because it's relying on the excess material in the comb, hitting more things. So we're not actually scraping the hair to get this tease, which is a really nice thing. We're actually just kind of bunching them together. So as you can see here, very easy to get rid of. No damage to the hair. Really, really fabulous. So again, coolest tools on the market. Thanks.